So you're wondering if you can keep your Betta with dwarf pufferfish. And I'm going to answer the question straight away, which is no, it's a terrible idea. But don't worry, stick around because I've got some great suggestions for tank mates for both the Betta and your dwarf puffers. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Richard and I'm a fish and shrimp keeper based in the UK. So why is it such a terrible idea to keep a Betta and dwarf puffers or a single dwarf puffer together? Well, for starters, both fish are considered aggressive species of fish. Bettas are famous for their aggression and their desire to often fight any fish that comes along. In fact, their common name used to be the Siamese fighting fish. Now, although Bettas are considered aggressive, they're also surprisingly easily bullied. Now, a dwarf puffer is also an aggressive species of fish. If you've ever kept dwarf puffers, you will know they could barely live with themselves, so never mind with any other fish. I currently keep 3 dwarf puffers in a 7-gallon tank, which is fairly small for 3 dwarf puffers, but it's heavily planted and each fish has carved out its own territory. But if one dwarf puffer strays into the territory of another, they're quick, they're snipe, they peck at each other. The Bettas typically have long flowing fins, and if those fins are constantly being pecked at by the dwarf puffers, they will become susceptible to bacterial infections such as fin rot, and the stress of constantly being pecked at can quickly cause the Betta to get into a downward spiral and become susceptible to pests and diseases. And Bettas which are bullied frequently succumb to a pest or disease and they may well die in a very short space of time. I think I can say with quite some confidence, if you keep a Betta and even a single dwarf puffer together, the dwarf puffer will quickly come out on top. The Betta will be dominated and the aggression shown by the dwarf puffers will quickly lead to the demise of your Betta. So, with that said, let's take the Betta first. What fish do make good tank mates for Bettas? Well, fortunately, that list is fairly long. You can keep Bettas in many community tanks, really providing you avoid fin nippers, such as perhaps tiger barbs or the aforementioned dwarf puffers, and you avoid fish with long flowing fins, especially the same colour as the Betta. The Betta may well confuse them for another male, causing him to be aggressive to them. But you can keep Corydoras catfish, bristlenose, neon tetras, cardinal tetras, harlequin rasboras, danios. There are many different fish you can keep with your Betta. And as we all know, when it comes to keeping a Betta, the larger tank the better, and mixing in tank mates with the Betta does seem to bring out the best in the Betta in my experience. Just make sure you don't choose a fish that will outcompete the Betta for food. Some fish are so quick to eat, the Betta won't stand a chance. So what about tank mates for your dwarf puffer? Well, common wisdom says you either keep a single dwarf puffer or you keep 3 or more in a tank together. If you're keeping 3, ideally 10 or 11 gallons as a minimum. However, people have successfully kept them in community tanks with other fish. And some fish you might try include bristlenose plecos, you might try some Corydoras species, you might try some fast swimming fish such as the zebra or leopard danio, something that can get out of the way of the dwarf puffer. But whatever fish you try, I would always suggest you have a backup plan. If your dwarf puffer is especially aggressive and absolutely adamant is not going to live with any other fish, then have a plan B. Have another tank where you can pick him up, plop him in, and he will be safe and his former tank mates will no longer be attacked or dominated by him. Now, I think dwarf puffers are possibly currently my favourite fish in my collection. I can waste hours just watching these little characters swimming around, constantly looking for food, constantly finding something to eat, constantly pecking at one another. And if you're new to dwarf puffers or you just love learning about them, why don't you check out this video next? Thanks for watching.